You're waking up. Archangel Michael confirmed it in an emergency download, but they're trying to pull you back. The hour was not random. The silence before dawn held a sound that only the spirit could hear. In the stillness where most sleep, your spirit stirred. You felt it. Sudden, weighty, holy. It wasn't anxiety. It wasn't overthinking. It was a divine interruption. Cut. A shift that didn't come from outside noise but from an ancient place within your soul. This wasn't just a dream, and you're not just going through something. You're waking up. The veil between heaven and earth thinned, and in that quiet window, Archangel Michael was dispatched with urgency. With flame in his voice and authority in his tone, he came not with comfort, but confirmation. What you sensed, what you've been wrestling with, what you've silently endured, it was real, is real, and it is divine. The inner transformation you can't explain to anyone else is not your imagination. It is the fingerprint of God moving in your life. But as heaven awakens you, forces are rising. Not everything wants you to come into clarity. Not everyone benefits from you seeing clearly. Darkness has always feared the awakened. And now that you've shifted, so has the battlefield. There are whispers you can't trace, distractions you can't explain, and pressure that seems to come from nowhere. But hear this. It's because your light is disturbing someone's illusion. You're being pulled on, tugged at, and tested, not because you're weak but because you're rising. This message, this moment, this sacred scroll of words that's not for everyone. It will not resonate with every heart, but it was meant for yours. You didn't scroll here by accident. Heaven orchestrated this encounter. There is a reason your spirit paused. There is a reason your heart leapt when you saw these words. Something in you recognized the frequency of truth. Something ancient. Something holy. Something you forgot, but never lost. You are being called out of noise and into stillness, out of confusion and into clarity. But you must be still long enough to receive what is being whispered. You must silence the distractions long enough to hear what is being spoken, not in the ears, but in the spirit. This is not the time to second guess. This is not the hour to delay. You are being pulled forward by God, and simultaneously, something is trying to pull you back. Stand still in this moment. Be present in this prophetic encounter. Do not scroll past the divine. Don't let another moment of sleep rob you of the reason you were stirred awake. Heaven is speaking. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. It with the hour that isn't just quiet, it's sacred. V33 AM. A moment where time bends, where the veil is at its thinnest, where the spiritual realm presses into the natural. And it was then, not before, not after, that the message came. It didn't knock gently. It arrived like fire on the wind, like lightning through the soul. You didn't imagine it. You didn't make it up. You were awakened, not by coincidence, but by divine command. Archangel Michael was dispatched, not with general comfort, but with emergency confirmation. With authority that splits through dimensions, he appeared in spirit and declared, "The veil has thinned. You're waking up. Not slowly, not subtly, not someday. Now. This is not a process that stretches for decades. This is not the same cycle repeating. You have crossed into an intersection of timelines, and your spirit knows it. You sensed a disturbance. You felt something pressing against your chest, vibrating in your bones, whispering behind your thoughts. Heaven is activating you. But do not be deceived. Where there is activation, there is interference. Where there is awakening, there is resistance. Because you were not supposed to see this clearly. They never expected you to question the matrix of your own conditioning. They never imagined you'd start asking, why am I here? What was I made for? Why do I feel pulled from what once comforted me? You're not losing your mind. You're gaining your purpose. And that inner shaking, that emotional earthquake, it's not instability, it's divine alignment. But understand this truth. This message is not for everyone. Only for those who were predestined to hear it. Only for those who have ears to hear. This message bypasses the logic of the mind and pierces straight through the veil of the heart. If your spirit is burning right now, if your tears are unexplainable, if your chest feels tight with a sudden knowing you are one of them, the marked, the awakened, the called, Archangel Michael issues this warning. Be alert in the next 48 hours. They will test you. You are no longer invisible in the spirit. Heaven sees you, but so does hell. And now, the test begins. It won't come in obvious forms. It won't be as blatant as darkness knocking at your door. It will come subtly, as distractions, as busyness, as people needing just a minute of your time, as emotions suddenly rising from nowhere, as doubt crawling into the edges of your mind when you thought you were over it. You must understand, your next step is holy, it is sacred, it is loaded with consequence. And because of that, the enemy has assigned confusion to cloud it. You are not battling people, you are resisting atmospheres. You are not fighting arguments, you are confronting altars. That's why the warfare feels so heavy, because the next step carries such weight. This is not a season for noise. This is not a time for crowds. This is not a moment for advice. This is the hour of obedience and silence. The Spirit says, obey without explanation. Move without validation. Choose without confirmation. Trust what you heard in the silence. Because heaven will not compete with your distractions. And breakthrough will not beg for your attention. In these next 48 hours, choose stillness like your life depends on it, because spiritually, it does. Choose obedience like eternity depends on it, because it absolutely does. Do not be baited by arguments. Do not be lured by emotional pleas. Do not respond to everything that calls your name. Everything pulling at you is not meant for you. Some voices have been assigned to steal your clarity. Some invitations are traps disguised as concern. And yet, there is divine protection. Even in this, heaven has already gone before you. Angels have already been assigned. Archangel Michael himself stands at the gate of your spirit, sword drawn, wings unfurled, guarding the door of your destiny. But you must not open that door with your own hands. You must not step out of sacred timing with restless energy. Wait. Listen. Withdraw. The Spirit is whispering. If you move now, I'll show you why I waited until this exact hour. This is divine alignment, not just awakening. This is your call up, not just your shake up. This is not for your entertainment. This is your equipping. You were not led here to be inspired. You were led here to be instructed. You were not led here for noise, you were led here for order. And now they've come. You're waking up. But they are trying to pull you back. Heaven is calling. Are you still enough to hear? Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. You felt it, the stares that last too long. The sudden shift in tone when you enter the room. The conversations that pause the moment you walk by. They smile. They nod. But their spirit reacts before their face does. Something in them sees something rising in you, and they don't know how to process it. You're not imagining this. You're not paranoid. You're not being dramatic. What you're discerning is real. They see the light, but pretend they don't. They feel your rise, but act as if it's nothing. Yet inside, it's shaking them. It begins subtly. Calls that used to come frequently now come with awkward energy. Messages come laced with small jabs, half-hearted support, or an eerie silence that speaks volumes. People who once encouraged you now seem oddly uncomfortable around you. Why? Because the version of you they were comfortable with no longer exists. You are becoming, and your becoming is confronting their pretending. There are spirits in operation through people, and these spirits are not thrilled about your awakening. You felt the shift. You sense the tension. One moment you feel lifted, clear, and confident. The next moment, it's like a fog rolls in. Doubt, insecurity, distraction, emotional overload. Your phone rings, and it's someone checking in, but their words leave you more drained than encouraged. You try to focus, but something invisible keeps pulling at your peace. These are not coincidences. These are strategic distractions, spirit-level disruptions, and they are targeting you because you've stepped into a new realm of clarity. Yes, someone is watching. Someone is monitoring. But not to help. They're observing your rise while secretly hoping you'll doubt yourself enough to sit back down. It's not always jealousy. Sometimes it's fear. Fear that you'll no longer need their validation. Fear that you'll see who you really are and no longer shrink to fit their comfort zone. And so, the enemy sends subtle agents. Gossip cloak as concern. Manipulation disguised as mentorship. Control masked as closeness. People will say things like, "You've changed," and it won't be a compliment. They'll suggest you're distant, cold, or doing too much. But the truth is, you're waking up, and they are still asleep. And in the realm of spirit, this creates friction. You are disturbing what they are still trying to ignore. Your clarity makes their confusion uncomfortable. Your obedience exposes their compromise. You're not losing friends. You're shedding layers. You're not becoming arrogant. You're becoming aligned. The weight you feel, the strange dreams, the emotional roller coasters, it's spiritual. These are signs. They are clues. Heaven is drawing you into deeper discernment. Archangel Michael is exposing what's been hidden in plain sight. Not to hurt you, but to protect you. You must see the difference between the assignment and the attachment. Some people were assigned to pull you back. Some connections were built to collapse as you rise. You felt unrest, not because something is wrong, but because something is being revealed. The exposure feels like heartbreak, but it's actually freedom. God is allowing this discomfort to prevent your delay. You've been asking, "Why do I feel like I don't belong anywhere anymore?" And heaven responds, "Because your spirit has outgrown the spaces your body still occupies." Don't be surprised if emotional waves continue. Don't be shocked if more people shift to ghost or gossip. This is confirmation, not punishment. The battle isn't about relationships, it's about spiritual position. And your elevation is disrupting the familiar. Hold fast. Anchor deep. Your spirit isn't lying. You're not too sensitive. You're not overreacting. You are being refined by revelation. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, You can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Subscribe to the channel for prophetic insights, spiritual breakthroughs, and divine encouragement every week. We're walking this journey together. Don't miss what's coming next. Type "I receive the truth" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 777 is releasing clarity over confusion. What you're facing is not ordinary, and it cannot be explained by logic alone. This is not just a bad day. This is not just mood swings. This is not random stress or human error. This is spiritual warfare, and it has been launched because of your awakening. The shift inside you, the spiritual alignment, the divine remembrance, the courage to step into your calling. It has made you a threat. You are now on the radar of darkness. Not because you've done something wrong, but because you've become spiritually dangerous. You are not being attacked for who you were, you're being attacked for who you're becoming. You've crossed into territory that most never dare to walk in. The enemy does not attack what is asleep. The enemy does not war against what is compliant. But you've begun to say yes to things heaven whispered into your soul long ago. And every yes you whisper shakes the gates of hell. The spiritual opposition has intensified because your purpose has entered its due season. You are no longer standing in potential. You're stepping into promise. And now the enemy must act fast. He must try to make you question everything. Your hearing, your vision, your worth, your authority. He wants to convince you that this is emotional instability, that this is overthinking, that maybe it's all in your head. But Archangel Michael thunders through the realm. This is not life happening. This is war. And you are being called to stand. The conflict around you is not a mistake. It is divine intelligence. Heaven is allowing this resistance not to break you, but to build you. This is your training ground. This is where discernment sharpens, obedience matures, and your anointing becomes unmistakable. You are being fortified in fire. You are being tested to carry the next mantle of authority. And the enemy knows that if you pass this test, you will become unshakable. You must realize, not everyone around you can come where you're going. Not every voice deserves your ears. Not every conflict deserves your energy. Because spiritual warfare is not about how loud you can fight. It's about how deeply you can trust. The enemy is trying to bait you into distractions, into fear, into fatigue. But heaven has already written your victory. And Archangel Michael reminds you, opposition always follows awakening. When things begin to go wrong at once, rejoice. When tension rises, discern. When people shift, listen. Because these aren't setbacks. They are spiritual signposts. They are signals that you've stepped beyond where the enemy wanted you to stay. You move it. You awakened. And now, he is trying everything to reverse the shift. But it will not work. Because you know now what you cannot unknow. You've seen what you cannot unsee. You heard what you cannot unhear. You have entered a divine momentum. The war isn't about your past. It's about your next. The attacks are not random. They are calculated strikes against your divine unfolding. But remember this. Your obedience is your shield. Every time you obey when you don't feel like it, you activate angelic reinforcement. Every time you choose stillness over reaction, you wage war in a realm most cannot see. Every time you say, God, I trust you, you unleash divine retaliation. You're not under attack. You're under activation. And no demon, no distraction, no delay can stop what heaven has ordained. Type "I am shielded" in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 411 is now activating spiritual armor over you. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. But right now. A decision is being made concerning you. Not by people. Not by circumstances. But in the realm of the Spirit. In the councils of heaven. Under the covering of fire and the eyes of angels. A divine verdict is being rendered. Archangel Michael leans forward with intensity in his gaze and whispers, "Watch carefully. Within 72 hours, something will be sent to confront your awakening. This is not speculation. This is prophetic precision. A confrontation is coming, cloaked, strategic, and deliberately timed to shake you. It will not come loudly. It may not look like a storm. It may not sound like the enemy. It may come dressed as comfort. It may arrive softly, a call from someone you used to care for, a message laced with nostalgia, a meeting that seems harmless. But beneath the surface, it's a trap. It's the final pullback before your full release. The enemy has studied your patterns. He knows your old weaknesses. He remembers your old attachments. And now, he will try to use them against you, not through force, but through familiarity. Archangel Michael warns you, do not take everything at face value. They are coming soft. They are coming sweet. They are coming as concern. But not every comfort is divine. This is the most deceptive moment of the battle. The test is subtle, but the consequence is massive. It's designed to look harmless, a moment of reconnection, a small compromise, a seemingly innocent decision, but it carries a hook. If you say yes to the wrong voice, you may delay the promise that is standing right at the threshold. This pressure you feel, it's prophetic. This uneasiness you sense, it's confirmation. Your spirit is not alarmed for no reason. The silence from heaven is not absence, it is strategy. You are in a divine pause because heaven is watching how you respond. And in this moment, silence is your weapon. Discernment is your shield. Stillness is your sword. You must not explain yourself. You must not defend your evolution. You must not justify your distance. Every answer right now opens a door, and not all doors lead forward. You've come too far to turn around now. The enemy is desperate, not because you're weak, but because you're dangerously close to deliverance. You're too awake to go back to sleep. But the final test is always the softest. They won't show up as an obvious distraction. They'll disguise themselves as your old prayers, relationships you once begged God to restore, opportunities you once cried for, people you once believed were your destiny. But here's the truth. They were part of your formation, not your future. And so, you must discern between the echo and the voice. The echo sounds like what you wanted. The voice confirms what you were born for. The echo feeds your memory. The voice feeds your mission. Do not be deceived. This is not a moment to entertain sentiment. This is the moment to guard your spirit like the future depends on it, because it does. The pressure in the next 72 hours will feel personal. The temptation will feel justified. The invitation will seem timely. But listen, if you bite it, you'll bind yourself again. If you answer it, you'll entangle yourself. If you agree with it, you'll delay divine timing. Heaven is sending this word as a rescue before the fall, a warning before the wound, a confirmation before the compromise. Don't you dare ignore it. Type "I will not go back" in the comments if you're choosing discernment. Blessing code 3003 is sealing your atmosphere. The command is simple, but it is mighty. Be still. Not because there is nothing to do, but because the next move does not belong to you. This battle isn't yours to manage, it is heaven's to settle. God is not looking for your reaction. He's looking for your stillness, your refusal to retaliate, your resistance to distraction, your silence in the face of noise. This is not weakness. This is warfare through surrender. There is a divine dimension of victory that is only unlocked when you withdraw. And now, the time has come. Archangel Michael surrounds you, his wings drawn wide, his sword sheathed, not in defeat, but in confidence. For the next battle will not be fought by you. It will be handled through your restraint. Withdraw into sacred stillness. Cancel the noise. Shut down the opinions. Mute the emotional triggers. Step out of the conversation that's pulling you backward. The enemy has been trying to bait you into reacting because he knows if you react, you might wear out. But if you remain still, the heavens will fight for you in ways you've never seen. This is the divine exchange. When you choose silence, God releases strategy. When you choose obedience, He releases orders. And when you choose trust, He unleashes justice. Your silence is not passive. It is prophetic agreement. Your stillness is not empty. It is filled with angelic warfare, with unseen battles that tilt in your favor the moment you say, God, I trust you more than I trust my own understanding. And make no mistake, your silence is shaking hell. The enemy expected rage, retaliation, and reaction. But instead, you've chosen reverence. You've chosen intercession over interaction, prayer over proving yourself, fasting over fighting, resting over running. And this silence is confusing the very spirits that were sent to trap you. They don't know what to do with someone who no longer bites the bait. They don't know how to bind someone who's surrendered everything to God. Archangel Michael shields those who pause and pray. He goes before the still. He fights for the obedient. He surrounds the quiet with fire. You may feel isolated, but you are being insulated. You may feel alone, but you are being hidden. Heaven hides those it's about to elevate. The quiet season is not rejection. It's preparation. God is using this pause to weaponize your peace. He is developing you in the dark before displaying you in the light. Affirm it now with your spirit. No weapon formed shall prosper, even in disguise. No friendly fire. No hidden snare. No subtle betrayal. No spiritual attack dressed in emotional pull will prosper. You are under divine surveillance, covered in celestial armor, and surrounded by warriors from heaven. Your obedience has made you a magnet for God's movement. Now is the time to fast, to write, to rest. You observe. You will hear more in silence than you ever did in noise. And what God reveals in these next moments will become the blueprint for your breakthrough. You are not abandoned. You are being preserved. You are not punished. You are being set apart. Stay under divine instruction. Heaven sees your discipline, and heaven responds with war on your behalf. This silence isn't the absence of activity. It's the signal that God has taken over. Type I am hidden for glory in the comments. Blessing code 4141 is now surrounding your path. There is a breaking happening, not around you, but within you. Something has snapped. Something old has shattered in silence. The ties that once held you to your former self are dissolving. The lies that once wrapped around your mind like vines are losing their grip. And now, in this holy unmaking, comes a divine unveiling. Heaven declares over you now, you are not who you used to be, and you do not need to apologize for the shedding. You do not owe anyone an explanation for the wings that have begun to unfold where your wounds once were. They see your fire now. They hear the authority in your voice. They feel your energy when you enter the room, even if they pretend not to. What they don't understand is that this fire wasn't forged in applause. It wasn't birthed in ease. The fire inside you came from the secret furnaces of obedience. It came from isolation, not invitation. From surrender, not striving. From weeping, not winning. You did not just wake up strong. You endured storms in silence that forced your spirit to grow roots in places others never see. So when they try to pull you back into your old identity, when they bait you with reminders of who you used to be, when they try to keep you in the version of yourself they could control, stand your ground. Smile but stand. Bless them but don't bend. You are no longer available for the cycles that once defined you. Heaven says, the old can't hold the new anymore. That voice you've heard in your spirit, calling you into more. It wasn't imagination. It was invitation. And it didn't come from this world. It came from a divine place that has waited for your agreement. The real you, the anointed you, the fearless you, the aligned you, is finally rising to the surface, and no amount of familiarity will bury that resurrection. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them whisper. But do not step off the wall you've been called to build. You are no longer walking in permission. You are walking in power. Power that cannot be bought, mimicked, or manipulated. It's not performance. It's presence. It's not ambition. It's anointing. This is what happens when a soul finally remembers its origin. The enemy's biggest fear wasn't you failing. It was you realizing who you are. And now that you know, he's terrified. Terrified because once you walk in power, you stop begging for permission. Terrified because once you move in authority, you stop negotiating with confusion. Terrified because once you stand up, hell has to back down. Archangel Michael declares, your posture has changed. You used to fight for clarity. Now clarity follows you. You used to chase approval. Now you are marked by heaven. You used to feel unseen. Now your name is being whispered in heavenly places. You've been processed, pressed, and purified. And now, you are walking in fire that no one can extinguish. This is your moment to shift. No more apologies for your elevation. No more shrinking to keep others comfortable. No more silencing your spirit to protect fragile egos. You've crossed over. You've come through. And you carry a weight that doesn't need validation to exist. You are not asking anymore, you are announcing. You are not waiting anymore, you are walking. So take up space. Speak with fire. Move with boldness. You are not arrogant. You are activated. And heaven is backing every step you take. Your name is etched in authority now. You are not who you were. And that's exactly the point. Type I have risen in the comments. Blessing code 888 is unlocking heavenly favor over your steps. You've wondered lately why the pressure has increased. Why it feels like you're being squeezed from all sides. Why right after peace comes warfare. Why, just when clarity lands, chaos follows. And heaven leans in now to whisper this truth. The resistance you feel is not a rejection of you. It's a revelation of you. You are not being punished. You are being promoted. And the warfare is not because you've done something wrong, but because you've aligned with what is eternally right. This is your unlocking. You couldn't have avoided this process if you'd tried. It had to happen this way. The delay, the denial, the heartbreak, the detours. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was accidental. God is not improvising. He's been orchestrating a divine unveiling, and now, it begins. Everything you've lost was not punishment. It was repositioning. God removed it because it couldn't carry what's coming. The doors that shut weren't rejection. They were redirection. The people who left weren't accidents. They were assignments that had expired. And even though your heart broke in the letting go, heaven was rejoicing, because your hands had to be emptied before they could be filled. Is trial. Is tension. It's not just discomfort. It's the tunnel to your territory. You've been walking through narrow places, pressed places, dry places. But every step has been a prophetic procession toward destiny. You haven't been wandering. You've been walking through fire to inherit your flame. And now, the heavens decree, you are being prepared for a promotion few can comprehend. That's why the warfare hath been unexplainable. That's why your tears have come at random. That's why your spirit has felt heavy, even when your life looks stable. Because something sacred is shifting in secret. You are not just awakening, you are being anointed. Not for applause, but for assignment. You were never meant to fit in. You were born to disturb darkness. You were never designed to blend. You were created to break cycles. Your name carries weight in realms others don't see. And hell knows it. That's why the attacks have been so strategic. Because your arrival into alignment threatens every demonic structure that thought it had you bound. But hear this. Your name is known in heavenly realms and feared in hell. When you speak, angels move. When you obey, chains break. When you rise, principalities tremble. You are not just another person walking through life. You are a divine interruption to the enemy's plan. You are God's weapon in motion. Archangel Michael thunders now. You've been marked by heaven. And now, you will move in authority. The resistance was the confirmation. The pressure was the proof. And now, the revealing begins. So don't pull back. Don't apologize. Don't question the oil you carry. This isn't a season to second-guess your strength. This is the hour to stand with your full weight, spiritually, prophetically, unapologetically. What is being unlocked now was hidden for such a time as this. If this word resonates with your spirit, consider giving a super thanks with a contribution of $20. Your support makes a difference and helps us continue releasing life-changing messages like this. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Subscribe for weekly prophetic revelations, divine guidance, and spiritual clarity. Your next confirmation might be one notification away. Type I am unlocked in the comments. Blessing code 2020 is aligning your name with divine release. Say it again. Not with fear, but with fire, I will not go back. I rise forward. Let every part of you hear it. Let every insecure thought, every fear from your past, every voice that ever tried to belittle your calling, let them all hear the sound of your spirit rising. This is not a nice affirmation. This is a declaration of war against the lies that tried to bind you. You're standing at the edge of destiny, and what you speak now is more than language. It is legal authority in the realm of the spirit. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey where hesitation becomes rebellion. Heaven isn't waiting on another confirmation. Heaven isn't waiting for your feelings to align. Heaven is waiting for your yes. Your full, unfiltered, unshaken yes. The kind of yes that unlocks chains. The kind of yes that parts waters. The kind of yes that changes bloodlines. This is that moment. Your mouth must open. Your spirit must roar. Your obedience must be declared. This is not just awakening. This is assignment. And assignments require action. You can't drift your way into destiny. You can't tiptoe into authority. You must step forward with boldness, even if your knees tremble. This step is not about confidence, it's about covenant. You and God. Heaven and you. A sacred agreement to go where others were too afraid to go. A holy vow to speak what others stayed silent about. You have been prepared for this. Every rejection, every delay, every betrayal, it was all a setup for this sacred unfolding. You're not speaking out of hope anymore. You're speaking out of inheritance. You are standing on the brink of divine release, and the moment you declare it, the moment you align, everything shifts. Your life will begin to echo the power you used to only feel in prayer. Your voice will carry weight in the unseen. Your walk will tarry reverence. And the shadows that used to intimidate you will now scatter at your feet. Heaven is waiting, not for your perfection, but for your position. Align now. Declare now. Don't hold back. Don't second guess. This is the threshold of becoming, and your delay is no longer divine. God is saying, I gave you the confirmation. Now give me your commitment. What you've been waiting on is waiting on your agreement. No more wondering. No more circles. No more returning to what once dulled your spirit. You have been too awakened to entertain what once fit your blindness. You are not going back to survival. You are not going back to self-doubt. You are not going back to pretending. You are not going back to sleep. You are rising forward. And as you rise, heaven opens. Speak this truth out loud. My life will now speak what my voice was once afraid to. What silenced you before will no longer grip you. The fear of what they think, the fear of failing, the fear of being too much, those chains break now. What you once whispered in the secret place, you will now declare in the open. Your breakthrough is not quiet anymore. It is warring through every room you enter. God is ready to release what you refuse to claim. But He cannot bless what you do not own. And now is the time to take ownership of your calling, of your anointing, of your assignment. Own your light. Own your difference. Own your divine destiny. Rise, chosen one. There's more to build, more to write, more to lead, and everything that tried to make you forget who you were. It will now serve as the backdrop to your becoming. Every loss is about to look like alignment. Every delay is about to look like direction. Every heartbreak is about to become holy fuel. Say it again. Say it loud. Say it as prophecy. I will not go back. I rise forward. Type I am ready in the comments. Blessing code 5151 is breaking delay and unlocking acceleration. While your eyes were closed and your body rested, your spirit was in motion. As your breath deepened and time faded from your awareness, heaven was negotiating on your behalf. You weren't idle, you were being advocated for. In the realms of spirit, a silent exchange was taking place. The angels moved into position. Archangel Michael stood before the courts of heaven, not with pleading, but with holy evidence, your tears, your prayers, your obedience, your yes. Everything you endured in silence became your legal right in the spirit. Every battle you didn't speak about, every betrayal you forgave without retaliation, every seed you sowed when it felt like nothing was growing, every quiet moment where you said, God, I don't understand, but I trust you. Those were receipts. And in the divine realm, receipts matter. Heaven does not ignore them. They become evidence. And the ledger of your name was opened. Archangel Michael whispers now with fire in his tone. The transfer is near. Stay still. Do not disrupt the holy exchange. You've been sensing a tension because the shift in spirit has already occurred, but your body is not yet caught up. That's why you felt restless. That's why things feel unfamiliar. Because something has been released in the heavens, and it's descending. But it must land on a spirit that remains still, a heart that remains yielded. Divine trades are being completed in your name. What was stolen from you in darkness is now being returned in light. Not with apology, but with interest. What the enemy tried to sabotage will now serve as a stage. What was meant for your collapse will now fund your calling. God is reversing contracts, writing scripts, releasing inheritances you didn't even know were tied to your obedience. But hear this clearly, this silence is sacred. Do not disrupt it with unnecessary movement. Do not ruin it with forced conversations. Do not break it with reactionary choices. The angels are working. The spirit is shifting. The divine is aligning. And you must not interrupt the negotiation with flesh-level behavior. You have cried for this moment. Wait for it. Love it. And now that it is here, you must not let restlessness sabotage it. This is a silent transaction. A holy alignment. A moment in time where heaven reaches down, not with explanation, but with manifestation. Do not fear the quiet. Embrace it. Rest in it. For in the stillness, the exchanges are finalized. Then you, chosen one, are being upgraded. Not because of performance, but because of surrender. You gave God your silence, and He is giving you His justice. You gave Him your confusion, and He is giving you clarity. You gave Him your delay, and He is releasing your due season. So while you wait, wait with holy expectation. While you listen, listen with reverent anticipation. And while you remain still, know this. Your name is being spoken in rooms you've never entered. Your case is being heard by heaven's highest. And what is coming for you will not be denied. This is not a pause. This is a sacred transaction. Do not move until heaven moves. Do not speak until the release comes. For when it comes, it will not be subtle. It will come with weight. It will come with clarity. It will come with undeniable confirmation. And it's closer than you think. Type I receive the exchange in the comments. Blessing code 9999 is finalizing your breakthrough. They thought they buried you. They thought their silence would suffocate your spirit. They thought their rejection would cripple your calling. They thought the betrayal would break you so badly you'd never rise again. But here you are, breathing, burning, becoming. And now, the divine reversal begins. What was used to try and destroy you is being flipped, inverted, and divinely reversed. Heaven is not just comforting you. It is vindicating you. God has balanced the scales, not with vengeance but with righteousness. Not with public drama, but with divine perfection. Heaven saw what happened in secret, and now heaven moves in response. Not in haste but in holiness. Not out of emotion but out of eternal justice. This is not payback. This is prophecy being fulfilled. For what was weaponized against your soul is now being used to elevate your spirit. Archangel Michael speaks with fire in his breath. Divine justice moves in silence, but it moves thoroughly. And now it moves for you. Every word spoken against you without cause, every plan plotted in shadows, every manipulation masked as concern, it is all being pulled into the light. Not so you can clap back, not so you can gloat, but so that heaven can settle the matter without you lifting a single hand. This is the justice of heaven. It exalts without your effort. It corrects without your retaliation. It restores without your striving. You've walked in honor when others walked in deception. You've chosen stillness when others stirred storms. You've held your peace, even while your name was being mishandled. And now, the Lord says, because you did not defend yourself, I will defend you. This justice is not just personal, it is generational. The cycles you've broken in silence, the curses you've crushed in prayer, the habits you've interrupted through obedience, all of it is shifting your entire bloodline. You are not just receiving justice for yourself, but for everything that was stolen from those who came before you. Your battles birthed your awareness. Your silence sowed into your awakening. And now, because of you, the reversal begins. Favor is returning where mockery once stood. The places you were overlooked are now calling your name. The tables that shut their doors to you are now being restructured to make room. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is the righteous reward of those who kept walking when the world tried to shut them down. And it will be undeniable. Those who watched you cry, questioned your calling, mocked your obedience, they will now see you rise in a way they cannot explain. Not because you're better, not because you're perfect, but because God decided it was time. This reversal will be silent, but effective. It will not be about making noise. It will be about making history. You will become the evidence that obedience pays off. You will become the proof that stillness wins. You will become the answer to prayers your ancestors wept over. And those who plotted your fall, they will have no choice but to witness your rise. Archangel Michael stands with sword raised high, not to threaten, but to protect the moment of divine elevation. No more delay. No more wondering. No more survival. You are stepping into vindication that will shock even you. The favor will be so sudden, the clarity so strong, the reversal so swift. It will silence every doubt you ever entertain. They will see it, and they will not understand it, but they will not be able to stop it. If this message is confirming your season, consider giving a super thanks with a contribution of $5. Your support helps us continue creating prophetic content that changes lives. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Be sure to subscribe for more prophetic words, spiritual insight, and divine confirmation in your journey. What's coming next will speak directly to your spirit. Type I am justified in the comments. Blessing code 7777 is surrounding your name with divine reversal. You thought this was just a shift in your emotions, a change in your thinking, a random feeling of something more. But heaven reveals this now. You were not waking up. You were being called up. This was not self-discovery. This was divine revelation. God didn't just allow you to sense something different. He invited you to walk in it. This is the hour of clarity. This is the hour of covering. This is the hour of calling. And heaven says, you are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. Nothing can reverse what God has now stamped over your life. The scrolls are open. The angels are released. Your name has been written on a mantle that cannot be erased. You didn't stumble here. You were led here. Every message, every line, every word that pierced your spirit, it was crafted for this very moment. To awaken you, to position you, to mark you. You are now standing in the afterglow of revelation. The veil has been lifted. The illusions shatter. Now you see. Now you know. Now you rise. You do not rise alone. You rise covered in the prayers of those who came before you, covered by the wings of angels assigned to your path, covered by the fire of Archangel Michael who fights for those stepping into obedience, covered by the voice of the Almighty declaring, "This one is mine." And from this moment forward, walk differently, speak differently, move with purpose, act with power. You are not the same. You cannot return to what no longer aligns. You cannot fit into what you've outgrown. You cannot pretend to be asleep when heaven has called you up. So bless what fell apart, honor what had to leave, and rejoice for what is rising within you now. A new chapter begins. A new anointing flows. A new assignment unfolds. You are not simply changed, you are commissioned. And every step from here will carry weight. The atmosphere around you will feel different. Because you are different. Heaven recognizes it. Hell fears it. And your spirit knows it. You are no longer waiting for confirmation. You are the confirmation. You are no longer seeking signs. You are walking in fulfillment. You are no longer hidden. You are revealed. Go forward now. Not with anxiety, but with authority. Not with fear, but with fire. Not wondering if you heard God, but knowing that you did. Archangel Michael declares one last time, you are sealed, seen, and sent. What was once unclear is now undeniable. What once felt heavy now feels holy. What once was broken has become beautiful. This is your final affirmation. You were not waking up. You were being called up. Now rise, chosen one. Go forward and watch what God does next. Type "I am called up" in the comments. Blessing code 3333 is anointing your next 7 days with clarity and direction.